Beloved, just want to clarify this simple thing because issue of proxy, because most people, especially on African continent and Africans, they think that we are a proxy to democracy or to dictatorship. When they speak about uniting Africa, they think that Africa should unite around Western concept of democracy and or Eastern concept of lifelong leadership, especially in presidency. But in reality, that's not the truth. We are not proxy to any and either of these superpowers. We are on our own as Africans, and we, like it or not, obliged, if I may use the term, to come up with our own path that will be uniquely us, just like all these other paths that we are participating in, which are not ours, which have got nothing to do with African and Africanism as a whole. So it's important to realize that, and from there we'll be able to think properly and correctly in order to unite and begin to want to unite Africa. But for as long as we are still thinking in line with Western way of thinking or Eastern way of thinking, we won't own this project of uniting Africa. For instance, look at some of the African brothers who have actually taken their country's government by force and coup d'etat. If you look at them, you realize that these people are still young and their real motives behind coup d'etats is to be like Western, even if they are in Eastern. They want to be lifelong leaders and the so-called presidents and dictatorship of their countries. But at the same time, they are interested and impressed by the things that are impressing and have been impressing the Queen and Kings of England, and not only kings and queens of England, but all these superpowers, because they are driven by harvesting gold from Africa. After they have harvested that gold, you look at what was the driving motive behind killing people for that gold, behind looting that gold, behind the whole thing of amassing gold from Africa. They start with their own attires. They produce or make attires decorated by gold all over their body to show that they are better and they are worthy. You know, they are so important than others because without wearing those golds, they are incomplete in their minds. they think that what God created can be supplemented by those attires that are being decorated by gold so that they can be complete human beings. But that is not reality. Then they move from decorating their attires with all those golds and blah, blah, blah to chairs. For instance, look at South African former president, say for instance, Jacob. Look at the chair that he has produced, the chair that he's actually enjoying sitting in it. It is so extravagant that you can't even believe that this is the man who is preaching unity of Africa. How do we unite Africa around Western concepts? There is nothing new that you are bringing to the forth to say that this is African, this is really African, this is what we're fighting for when we say let us unite Africa. And when they move away from their personal attires and personal chairs, they keep on amassing all those gold decorated things around themselves and their families to show that that was the real motive behind the noise that they've actually been making to say we are here to represent the people. But behind that statement, there lies greediness. So it is so important that we get to a point where we understand that greediness hide behind what most people do and say. What they do and say is not necessarily the reality. The reality is behind the whole thing. If you look at the Sahel region as well, not only the Sahel region, but including the so-called African Union, you will see the things that I'm talking about. So you check and tell yourself that, but these are not the people who can actually speak on behalf of African unity and the project of uniting Africa. They can't. No one qualifies to speak on behalf of Africa. All of them, except if they take drastic changes in how they relate with materials. So basically, this is what I wanted to share with us, brothers and sisters. Thank you. Enjoy. Bye.